there is rain pouring in through the ceiling, and it's just moldy and gross. We had to tear it down at some point, but for now, I just want to seal it off from the main house so it's less musty.
I burned out like a wandering ember. I shone bright, then my journey was over. What I sought when I ran was back where I began. No matter the rain, no matter.
Now this door here needs a good cleaning. However, it's supposed to go in this hole here. And basically, the reason why we want to get this door back on is because this hallway here kind of separates the main house from the kitchen addition that I think you saw in the last video. There is rain pouring in through the ceiling, and it's just moldy and gross. We had to tear it down at some point, but for now, I just want to seal it off from the main house so it's less musty. The issue is that these old door hinges, I don't know if you can see the holes in there, took some massive screws. So I got some number 14 screws to put in the holes. However, in spite of that, these holes where the little hinge mortise went in the casing here are all stripped out. So having said all that, I need to basically re-drill these holes with a bigger hole, put a dowel in there, and then drill again for the proper size screw that I bought. I already did the top here. You can see I just drilled a larger size hole and put some oak dowels, flush cut them in there. So they're nice and glued and sturdy. And basically what we'll do is just re-drill the holes after we line up the hinge and put the new screws in, and it should be good as new.
Storm, I'm coming home. I'm coming home. Leave open.
These, you gotta be careful because you got this little detail on the molding. If I go too far, too shallow, I'll just drill through the detail. So I'm gonna go in a little bit. So I'm gonna try to start my drill, and you can see it's already cracked. I swear to God I didn't do that. It was like that when I got here. But that's gonna be an issue.
Going so low, nowhere I can ramble or roam. Could change my mind, could slow my coming home. I'm coming home. Oh, I'm coming home. Leave open the gate. Don't turn off the light. I'm coming home. I'm coming home.
Ooh, baby, look at that.
Wow.
Dang.
2 hours later. Probably didn't take 2 hours, but it took at least. Joys of living in an old house.
Looks like it's stripped, but it's a little bit of wax. We had to wax the screws because the dowels I used were oak. It was just a little bit too hard. The threads were a little bit too coarse, and it was just spinning after I even glued them up. So the lock hardware on this is like scabbed together. This thing is like, there's no screws holding it in. This side has a little escutcheon bezel, whatever you want to call it, that fits nicely with the knob there. This one, unfortunately, this side is missing the little escutcheon. So this is just like inside the door, which is fine. I think let's just stick it on for now. So these guys are amazing. They are self-tapping, all-purpose construction wood screws. We use them on woodworking projects, house projects, all kinds of stuff. They have some little teeth that grab behind the head to really hold them on so they don't back out over time. And they have a real sharp point with that slit there that helps it self-tap into the wood. They're awesome. We're gonna use these to secure the lock on the door right now. Oh, and the best part is that they are not a Phillips or flathead. They are this Torx bit, which is incredibly strong and never strips. All right, so this next door here that we're gonna work on goes out to the porch. For one, you can see it's not fully closed, and it's been like this for months throughout the winter, throughout the summer. Bugs are coming in. We have humongous spiders because they're attracted to the bugs that are coming in. So it's close to closing at the top, but it's really far. It's like a ½ an inch away from the door opening on the bottom, so that it won't shut. It basically tells you that the door is cocked like this. So this hinge is in place, looks good. The hinge pin is kind of backing out, which tells me that there's a lot of tension on the hinge pin. If you look down the door, you can see that this bottom hinge might be completely ripped off of the wall. So there's about a ½ inch gap at the bottom of this door, pushed over towards the outside of the door frame here. But will it open? It does open.
Oh, nice.
Oh, God, the bugs in here. So they have a hodgepodge of screws holding basically the same problem that we had on the other door is the same problem that they have on this door. So somebody must have come along at some point and tried to tighten them and strip the holes there. So they have the normal countersunk flathead screws there, and then this thing, that's stupid. It's not flush with the hinge, and therefore it's gonna push out when you close the door. And I'm sure it's just not the right size. And if you look at the bottom, you can see the screw is actually completely fallen out of the hole, and there's nothing holding that in. This is the wrong type of screw to use, by the way. This is just crazy town. So I can pretty much assure you that the holes are stripped, so we're gonna have to drill them out, put a dowel in, and do the same thing that we just did on the other door. So this door isn't made, I think this door wasn't built with the house. This is like an added on door because there should be some kind of structure behind the door frame here, inside the jamb, like a 2x4, 2x6, but this goes all the way through and there's nothing, like 6 inches back. So, I mean, what the hell? Maybe it's back more towards the house? I don't know.
Next one up is the front door.
It's the one that needs it the most. As you can see, it's barricaded right now.
We just moved this wardrobe from in front of our main door. Seen better days.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't think I like the inside of these. Oh, you know what? I think it would be cool. There are nice floating panels, but there's so much paint and shit in here. Oh my god, it's caulked and painted to make it look flat. So they've like eliminated the panel, the floating panel look, and caulked it. These are serious, like, some serious shit.
I'm driving in my car, the road is long and full of dust. The landscape changes around me, on and on, I feel immersed. Whatever happened to me, happened for my highest good.
It originally had this nice little bead molding around the corner of the floating panel. But they caulked it all to make it look like a giant piece of plywood, which is just terrible. I think the reason they were doing it is because there's this crack in there and they're trying to air seal it up a little bit more. But in the process, like the door is just foobar.
Seagulls fly around the beach house that I rented for a while. You can try to find my number or my FBI file. Sweet is my location, sweet as well my destination. If you're looking to begin, then look no further than within.